What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Great to be with you all over here this Friday morning over here. You guys are all a happy, positive bunch. It's absolutely contagious. What a beautiful, beautiful thing we share over here. You are truly a blessing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Glad we're here to do it again together. A lot to actually talk about for a Friday. The charts are going to be interesting. We'll get to go over the charts. I get the sense you might also that warning shots were fired last night. I talked about that in the afternoon update. We'll see what's transpiring now. We're going to be taking a look across the board. Nice to see a healthy cryptocurrency market. But Jordan, Bitcoin is off. Yep. Look at that. Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. We like that at this point in the cycle, by the way. Very healthy. We're also seeing, right? We're also seeing Cardano up a little bit over here off of that breakout of that bull flag. Big shout out to Brandon on Crypto Trades and Tech. You could find the link to Brandon's channel on my main channel. And then over here, you have Chainlink. And Chainlink is obviously the story of the day. Link Marines doing their thing over here. Look at this, by the way, just that beautiful resistance. You could see it broken, playing out on the 2-hour, unfolding fast. Not only that, just look at this over here. If you go ahead and you had that little bit of trend line we always look and watch for, you could see when we broke out after holding that broken resistance, flipping it as support. How is Dave feeling this morning? That was the question. Weak hands Dave. Yep. I think he's probably regretting the fact that when he bought into Bitcoin, it was like 17,000. When he bought into Chainlink, it was about 17, 16, $16. I bet he wished that he held. He would look like the best trader that there actually is. Calling the bottom of the stock market over there when the Fed started going ahead and expanding their balance sheet by $4.1 trillion. Every other old school analysis out there was like, no, I think we're going to go ahead and break to the test the 230,000 low and then break out down. And it's the Great Depression. And he's like, what are you talking about? Fed's QE, assets go up, stocks go up, right? If he would have transferred over to crypto, he would have been a hero, but he doesn't understand the markets. That's why he didn't do it. All right, what else we got going on today? Let's get into it. We're going to make this a really fun session going off of your all vibe today, right? And then from there, we're going to go ahead and then we will go ahead and open it up. Whoa, there you go. And then I thought you were talking about Dave. Yeah, we were watching that in July, Greg, but I thought you were talking about Dave. So anyway, and then we'll get into Ask Me Anything. We'll have fun today and really enjoy the markets, really enjoy ourselves, right? So let's start this off with yesterday's afternoon's update. I did mention the fact that I felt that the package being proposed by President-elect Biden was a little bit high. We're not talking politics in here. We're not going to be like going back and forth, all that nonsense. Just keep it aside. By the way, the moderators, thank you so much. You don't know what it's like to wake up in the morning and I have to go ahead and moderate all that spam overnight on the YouTube channel so that no one gets taken advantage of, and to see that it was already done. You guys are absolutely amazing. No political talk in here, but we're going to talk about the current situation. The current situation is last night a $1 trillion stimulus bill was suggested. Markets, right, were a little like, wait, I thought you said $2,000 checks to the American people. Now it's $1,400. Yep, but you got to go ahead and you got to add the fact that we already gave you $600 just a couple of weeks ago. Okay, $2,000, $1.9 trillion. How does the market like that? That's a big number. I thought the market wanted a big number. Yeah, but that's going to have a lot of trouble getting passed. What do you mean? The Democrats, they control the Senate now. There should be no problem. Well, there are such things called like centric Democrats, those that are not willing to go ahead and spend their children's future so readily. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of trouble getting that passed. What it's going to look like ultimately, I don't know. But I see this morning a little bit move, a little bit of a risk-off posture. We're just going to show you how the market is doing that. We're going to watch the Japanese yen. We're going to see what we all think of it, and then we're going to react from it from over there. Thank you, Joel. Definitely appreciate that, everyone. By the way, what's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquering the Markets. This is our Friday live stream over there, and I'm ready to go ahead and get into it with all of you. All right. That's right, too, Russell. We're talking about some time. Let's see what the market is reaction. That's all I'm ever interested in, is how the market is reacting, right? And we just know last night, this is what we said yesterday morning during the live stream. We're going to wait to see what's proposed and how the market reacts. Before it was proposed, as it was proposed, $1.2 trillion, we touched base and I talked about what I thought about it. Now the market seems to be thinking the same. So what's going on technically? That's what we care about most right now. Are we seeing any technical breakdowns in the S&P 500? No. But Jordan, we lost this breakout of this bull flag. Yep. But we're coming right back down into this area of support. It's light resistance. It's light support. If we hold here, that's extraordinarily bullish, right? What happens if we don't hold over here? What are we looking at? We have this move over here between this resistance at 37.33 and the one right below it, 37.14. That's what we would wait for if we broke down over here further, and we would see how price reacted in that area. Nothing more, nothing else. S&P, Nasdaq though, you can see that again. No technical breakdowns, but I see lower highs. Yeah, well, that happens all the time. Don't worry about that. Is that the first indication that this thing is getting ready to roll over? Maybe, but we don't look for the stock market to crash. So we're not looking for a crash. Is a correction developing? I don't see one yet. I see the Nasdaq holding this area of support. If it's able to resume off there, that's entirely bullish. If it doesn't, yeah, then we can be looking for a steeper correction. Maybe 12,580, maybe into the support over there. We'll watch what happens. What about the Dow? Dow looks super, super, super bullish to me. It is almost mirroring the S&P's action. We don't need to really look at it, right? The VIX. VIX. When has the VIX ever helped us? Felipe, we're always ahead of the VIX, right? So what about on the Russell over here? What about this little bit of this rising wedge? That's a bearish pattern. If it breaks down, what would that lead to? Well, it hasn't broken down yet. It hasn't broken down yet at all. That's entirely bullish. Market's still maintaining their bullish nature, okay? And if this breaks down over here, this could fall. This could fall, back to the 2,000 whole number pretty quickly, and that would be a little bit of a fall, right? Humpty Dumpty. That would be about a 5, let's call it a 6%, little bit of a fall over there. That could unfold quickly. That's the equity markets. All right. What about the dollar? What's going on here this morning with the dollar? Dollar back into this resistance. You could see after that bull flag, it broke out into the resistance and then came back into the flag of the channel itself, and now is resuming out. Look at the higher high right over here, right back out of it into resistance. It appears that this time the dollar is going to be able to go ahead and trade back above it. We'll watch and see how high it gets. You can see over here this little bit of light support turn resistance. Again, touch into there, right? I want a line right there on 90.70. Get above 90.70, and that means that we're looking at a little bit of a retrace on the dollar. I don't think that's signal. I think it's noise, but we'll continue to track it and watch it. So we're watching this area here that morning. Important. Notice that the 10-year yields fell on the announcement of the $1.9 trillion. Do you think that the bond market thinks that deal is getting passed for $1.9 trillion? I don't think so. No, not even close. That's the whole thing. So listen, I don't know his name. If I knew his name, I would use his name for this instant here. Steve. If Steve, who is able to articulate points very, very well, were to go ahead and not pull a shift and just put out a thesis, right, where he could be right once in a blue moon, well, that much respect, my brother. You're adding to the conversation. You're helping us all, right? Or when you got a theory out there, what's the straw? Bitcoin. When you got a theory out there and you just have it out there so that once in a while when the system breaks, you're correct. Well, I don't have time for that. Not only that, it's very dangerous. It's dangerous for other people out there. That's the only reason I get kind of upset about it, right? Because I want to make sure everyone stays on the right side of the trade and not keep someone on the wrong side of the trade for an extended period of time. That's all. I wish, and talking about our friend Sven, I wish that he was a perma bull, because the markets are perma bulls, the equity markets, until they're not. But he would be helping a lot of people with some really good articulated TA and thoughts. Anyway, that's that for that. Let's let's get back into it. What's oil doing this morning, right? Oil into that final target I had over. I don't think that's the final move for oil. I think we go much higher. I think what we're seeing over here, right, is huge, massive amounts of inflation on the way, just getting warmed up over here. I think oil goes higher, but right now we're into that resistance. It's not attractive. Not even going to follow it. What about gold? Gold is unchanged on the day, right? You can see what's happening on gold. This is actually re-added over here by Will, this trend line over here. We looked at that way back in the past, but you can see that we're consolidating again, coming to this point over here. Just wait. If we come further into that peak, that actually helps us get into a lower, if we break out to the upside, a lower price point, but it's not attractive right now. This is kind of attractive. Do you think this is one of the easiest trades right now in 2021? Do you think that gold Bitcoin is probably one of the easiest trades you can make? Well, if you think about it, they're actually competitors fighting against each other. I mean, when I say we all know, I mean nothing is a given in the markets, right? We all know that. But in my opinion, we're going to see a massive breakdown over here in 2021. We've already been talking. It's not like today we're talking about this. We've been talking about what was expected over here when we were trading much higher over here before we broke down in this last leg over this past, since the new year, over the past 2 months. That's just getting started. I think that might be one of the easiest trades all year long. Think about it. What else are we looking at over here? Yeah, thanks for the love. I definitely appreciate it. By the way, everyone in the afternoon this past week or two have been absolute. I just want to thank you. You've been smashing the like button for those afternoon updates. It really, really, truly helps support the channel, and I thank you for that. I thank you for that at all. No, Twitter, Facebook. Man, I don't even want to mention those names. Twitter, Facebook. Let's censor them. We're going to censor them over here. There's, for the good of everyone, we're just going to censor Twitter over here. And say, by the way, Jack Dorsey was expected to speak at the Bitcoin 2021 conference, moved to LA from San Francisco, right? So does anyone think that Jack Dorsey should be speaking at a Bitcoin conference? What's going on, right? Because Bitcoin is about censorship. Anyway, let's keep going. Boom, 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 boom. What are we going to look at this morning? Where are we going to start? Let's see what's going on over with Bitcoin. I didn't mean to trigger everyone talking about Twitter censorship. But anyway, every single one of us. Anyway, Bitcoin, US dollar. Let's go back to the 2 hour and look at it. We're going to go back to the 2 hour because we were tracking this together. Do you remember when we were tracking this together? Right? We were watching that trend line over here. Not only this one trend line. Hold on. Let me get back into real time with you. Boom, 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 boom. Where could I find that trend line? Break it up. Come a little darker. It wasn't just this trend line. There's always one in the bunch. There's always one in the bunch. There's always one programmed sheeple in the bunch. Yep. So over here, I was tracking this with this trend line and this trend line over here, right? Did anyone notice, by the way, that Facebook censored you years ago? I deleted Facebook after watching Oliver Stone's Snowden. And if you saw the movie and haven't deleted Facebook, watch the movie again. But I deleted that a long time ago. But I noticed way before there was about a year I stopped even using it. About a year I stopped using it before I deleted it. I had a gazillion friends on the platform. All my childhood friends, right? Any which way. So did anyone notice that Facebook was censoring you before Facebook actually started censoring people? How do I mean that? Did you ever go to type something into your whatever they call the status update and then not send it because you were like, wait a second, I can't send this out there because other people are going to react? Facebook started censoring you a long time ago. You didn't even realize it. Why didn't you realize it? Anyway, that's for a different day. We're talking about the markets over here. We got the Bitcoin right? The Facebook. Speaking of the Facebook, we got the Bitcoin over here, and it will become the Bitcoin if Jack Dorsey speaks at the 2021 I'm hopping all over, but that's okay because it's a Friday. All right. It's a Friday. Anyway, here we go over here, the trend line. This is what we were watching. I put these out here to show you that I was watching them. I deleted them after the breakout now once we cleared above the $35,000 line we were watching. But anyway, here we came back up. We were targeting before we broke out. Together on the channel, my price was here. I said if we get that breakout and clear it, that I would be targeting in this area of supply over here, right? That's what happened. That was expected. Since then, what is happening is that we're pulling back in a very orderly channel over here. It's very orderly. Go ahead and bump, 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 right? You could see it clearly like that. Looks solid, looks good, looks entirely bullish. I have that area of support down over here coming at 36,400. I would like to stay above that. However, if we stay above that, this is extraordinarily bullish. And that what might be, if we get a breakout over here, either today or over the weekend, pushing us back to not only test the all-time high, but taking us back above it. Giles, amazing video you sent over there on Tether. Really, really appreciate that. Yep, my wife is absolutely a treasure of God. Thank you so much. Right? Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin today. Healthy for the crypto market at this time. Brandon had gone ahead a couple of months ago, it seems like. Maybe it was 6 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when. Right around the time he started his channel, he showed me how, listen, after Bitcoin's first pullback, that's when Ethereum that starts really making its move. That's happened. You can see over here, Ethereum over here is consolidating. Very, 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 very bullish. Bitcoin is coming back down in that downward sloping channel. Ethereum so far sideways. And here's the line that we just looked at on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, stay above that line. This is uber bullish over here. Ethereum looking hot this morning. Ethereum, Bitcoin, right? This is the one we were tracking. Been setting this up for a while, ever since we broke out. Let me just come down to a reasonable time frame with you all. Ever since we broke out of here and came back down, setting up this trade. Actually, we were setting up this trade way before that, before we waiting for the breakout of this. Here's the breakout, right? Again, a couple of opportunities. You still have opportunity if you get back above this resistance line. Ethereum, Bitcoin, in my opinion, don't go ahead and buy something because I'm watching something or I think something is in the process of occurring, right? Do your own research, understand why you're doing it before you do it, but get back above this resistance. This was the first opportunity. We looked at that yesterday. Get back above here is a new opportunity or a time to add, right? So this is like a common question about from a lot of people. Common question, and the question is, what type of price target are we looking at for Ethereum? I don't have a price target, but Ethereum right now at 1,200. Do you think we're going to see 5,000 from here? I don't know. Are we going to see 3 to 5,000? I would have to say that is that's like calling Bitcoin 140,000, right? Is Bitcoin over here going to have a 4x in it? I think so. I'm pretty confident about that. Is Ethereum going to have a 4x in here and put it at 5,000? I think so. I'm pretty confident about that. All as I know, not watching the price on Ethereum, though the best exit on Ethereum is going to be shortly after we exit the Bitcoin trade. Now, to keep things easy, you could exit at the same time. If you're trying to squeeze out every last drop of wine, you could wait a week or two, follow the price action. Ethereum and alts should go ahead a little bit while further. Bitcoin looks really bad and the dollar breaking up. Yeah, so it's so funny, and this is just an observation, but it's so funny anytime we've had, this is like the dollar up, by the way, is not even 0.5% today, right? And every time we see the dollar up throughout this whole fall, everyone's like, yep, the dollar's reversing. Dollar's strong today. I'm looking at this chart, and you remember I was the biggest of dollar bulls until I saw, let's say emotionally, that's the wrong word, but I was tied to that dollar bullish thesis, right? Until we broke over here. And I said, oh, well, the charts are showing me what the charts are showing me. And then since then, it's been a straight line down. Is this the bottom? Well, if someone's calling the bottom here, maybe they get right, but people have been calling the bottom the whole way down. We have to wait for this to get back above this trend line, right? And at that point, then we say, all right, now the dollar is not looking so bearish anymore. It had a breakdown outside that channel. After the breakdown outside the channel, it's then been able to regain it, right? And that would take us off that uber bearish dollar mood we have unless we broke about the trend line on the upside, then we would become super dollar bulls. But anyway, you're just seeing market fluctuations right now. That's all you're seeing is market fluctuations right now. What else are we looking at? Chainlink this morning. You have to give it its due, because look at Chainlink over here crushing it. By the way, this is Litecoin, right? You notice that Ethereum, Litecoin, the heavyweights and the altcoins. Look at this. This is entirely bullish over here so far. Entirely bullish. If you resume off there, anyone interested in a nice entry on Litecoin, look, watch the setup developing. Looks very, very nice over there. Watch that this weekend. Looks very nice over there. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Do appreciate that very much. What are your targets on oil in 2021? I don't have any targets on oil on 2021. I have to say, going back to 2020, of all the trades in 2020, oil was one that stands out as being some of the best work that was put out on here. Now, it could be called the crash on the S&P in February and into March, or it could be called picking that bottom, or it could be called the oil trade, where we started on this channel when oil was on its mid-50s, and I was like, why everyone in the world was entirely bullish on oil, and I was like, you know what? I think because of what we're looking at in 2020, we're probably going to see oil trading down, somewhere around 35. That happened a lot quicker than expected, and from there we started lowering the targets down towards 24, then 22, then ultimately 1450. I didn't think it was going to break below that. I had no idea oil was going to go zero, but right now oil is not an attractive market at all. And when something comes in place, when it's time for us to be tracking oil, I'll get all over it. I'll do that with you. It's not right now. There was two or three trades that I called within this range, but stayed away from June until a couple of trades that were pointed out in the fall. Stayed completely away from this market, as it was sideways, by the way, until we broke out of this channel. Once we broke out of that channel, I was like, all right, I'm targeting 54. And then after that, after we broke out of that resistance, I was like, all right, now I'm targeting up here, right? And that's it. But it's not exciting right now. You're into some pretty big resistance. I think ultimately we're going to get above this resistance on oil because of what's going on here with the signal, the massive amount of QE purchases by the central banks across the world. It is inflationary. Yes, it keeps yields down. It's asset inflationary. Commodities are flying. I think that we're only going to see more of that. The only thing they can do is print their way out of it. There'll be verbal intervention along the way. They're going to be talking about tapering the program. They can't do it, so they're not going to do it. Until when? Until they make that jump to the next system. What is that next system? It is the central bank digital currencies. They're developing them. They're on their way, but it's going to be still a few years before that happens. When that happens, how they're going to make that transition is going to be what? An orchestrated crisis. Here we are. What's going on what else can we look at this morning that we haven't looked at? We need to look at FX because a lot is happening on FX. When I say a lot's happening, we're seeing, and we're going to check out what's going on with commodity currencies, and we're going to see what's going on with the Japanese yen. All right? We're going to take a look at that because that's important to watch what's happening over there. It's important to watch because it could be the sign of bigger things to come. We want to be all over it. Silver and gold. I touched on gold. I didn't take a look at silver, but just to let you know, let's take a look at that. Right? I still remain under the belief, right, that metals are in a massive bull market over here, consolidating very nicely. But just like gold is consolidating back into this downward sloping channel over here, tried to get the breakout over there. Didn't work, didn't pan out, got back neutral as it came back into the channel, waiting for a breakout above. Will not sell it. Waiting for a breakout above. On silver, it's the same thing. Above 27.50, the silver line, that's when, if you're not involved in it, that's probably when you want to start jumping on the momentum. Above 26, still that important resistance. That's where it gets kind of safe to come back into the water. Right now, I just don't think that people should be involved because the momentum is not there. You want that momentum with you. That's all. Thanks, Dale, for smashing that like button. It does extraordinarily help the channel, but only hit it if you enjoy being here. Only hit it if you're learning something. Only hit it if you are, you know, a nice guy, a nice girl, and want to help out. What else could I say? Let's take a look at what's going on over there. Let's start with the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This is considered the ultimate risk on, risk off pair. We'll start and see what's going on over here. And you can see that so far, this is still very, very bullish. Is this, by the way, I had circled that a long time ago, right? Not a long time ago. Yeah, a long time ago, last week. And here we go. Is this probably, is potentially, let's say, is this a broadening wedge, which should be a very bearish pattern developing? Listen, if I all of a sudden, because everyone knows here, I am definitely not in the habit of calling tops or bottoms ever. So if I start looking at something and be like, here's what I'm watching and why, and then like you're gonna get, there's always one, oh, you're calling a top. No, yesterday on the equity markets, I said, watch what's happening. I don't think the markets are really liking what's being proposed. And then we all know what the markets are going to be looking at next, since the markets are always forward looking. They're going to be looking at, wait a second, how are we going to pay for this spending? Wait, what? Taxes are going up? How does the market going to react to that? Right? So yesterday was an important event as the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill was proposed. So that's that for that. Can you analyze stocks? Of course I could analyze stocks, right? A market is a market. Boom. A market is a market. If you learn to trade a market, you could trade any market. But I'm focused on what's important right now. Stocks on the whole, on the whole order of things are the least important, right? They're the least important of all this. Indexes, very important. That's why we look at them first. By the way, if you want to know what's going on in stocks, pay attention to when I explain what's going on the Nasdaq, on the S&P 500. Pay attention, right? But stocks themselves, individual stocks, it's Friday, it's fun. If we want to look at it later, we'll do that. But those are the least important on this whole thing. So let's keep going over there. Let's go. What else are we looking at? Boom, 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 boom. That's right. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Look at this possible broadening top developing over here. It's still really entirely uber bullish. That might return, but I'm seeing, well, let's take a look. I want to look at all Japanese yen pairs, and then we'll make the assessment of what we're seeing. I'm just going on intuition right now. I haven't looked at them yet. Okay? So that's a warning. That's all it is just a warning. Euro, Japanese yen, or Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's go in order, right? What's going on here? By the way, outer line rejected. This is, I during the live training session, I added this bottom line one, this darker line in over here, connecting that just so everyone knows to the top of the wicks. I had this lower line in originally, and then I said, well, they're both obviously very relevant over here. You can see over here that we came in, are being rejected, trading back down, but into support. All right. You can see that if we lose this support on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, that would begin to be worrisome, and we'd be looking for a bigger pullback. Next big support coming in at 81. What is this over here? This is 80.50. 80.85. All right. I got a little thrown off over there. So what do I make of that? Well, not bullish that we haven't been able to break out of that trend line. We were stopped over here, right? But we're neutral. There's no way that we're bearish at this point whatsoever. This support line could held. Would I take that trade right now off this support coming back into that trend line? Or would you wait for this trend line to be broken and then look to get a retest and a resumption? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself right now. Euro, Japanese yen. Is this bearish or bullish? Well, it's really quite bullish still to me in the fact that we're holding this important support over here, right? This rejection of that resistance, by the way, that's resistance. That's fine. That's not bearish, right? But am I seeing Japanese yen strengthening? Yeah. We have to see what happens at this support over here. Just like on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, we have to see if this support holds. And on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, if we break outside of this this broadening wedge pattern. What else? New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Still, well, warning that we broke the trend line, but above this area of support over here, and really well above the support over here. I would think any pullbacks into these areas of support, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen might be one of the first that I look at to take advantage over here. But I would want to see a bigger pullback at this point. I could see that the Japanese yen is becoming bid in this moment. Okay, nothing technically has broken down yet, though, where I'm like, we're in, risk off. Just warning shots being fired. It's such that we need to pay attention today, right? It's today that we need to pay attention today. Luis, you're seeing a megaphone on the Euro Japanese yen, similar to what we saw playing out on the Australian dollar Japanese yen, like that over there. And then we'll go add another one over here. There you go. And that's the support. You know, it makes it a lot clearer for everyone. That's the support. Let me go ahead and remove that bull flag that's passed now. All right. So what about on the Japanese, on the pound Japanese yen? What's going on over here? Well, it looks like we might be losing this area of support, but that's not clear. If I move my mouse down, you can see very clear. Here's where the body closed. That's also a line. So I wouldn't say we've lost anything right now, right? Everyone can see what I'm saying and doing. So, by the way, just instead of adding another line, I'm going to say, okay, this is what the market's paying attention to. I want to pay attention to what the market's paying attention to. Let's see if that holds. An entry that gets no name over here, or if this bounces right now. We'll just keep watching it. But I would have to say the pound Japanese, the pound looks the most bullish against out of all these Japanese yen pairs, right? But the pound is down the most, right? Well, New Zealand dollar down also 0.65%. Pound Japanese yen down 0.6%, but the euro's only down half that, right? Doesn't matter. This over here, this looks the most bullish out of all of them. This might be the one that I would be looking to play if I were to go long. If we get a further retracement back down on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, I would also be watching that to see if support holds, especially a test of this resistance over here. That would be a very good place to lean into. So I'm just making notes today because I'm seeing something of note, and that's what we're seeing occurring in the Japanese yen. This is the US dollar Japanese yen, still tracking and waiting to see if we get a breakout above. Right now, as we have the dollar strengthening, US dollar Japanese yen is kind of in a stalemate. Dollar strengthening. Dollar up 0.3% today. Nevertheless, we're seeing that little bit move into risk on. Dollar bid, Japanese yen bid, but not these two are not going anywhere. Just yet, right? So the two lines to focus on over here is this support right over here and this outer resistance over there for now. What else? We didn't check out. We're into dollar pairs right now, so we're going to focus in on dollar pairs. Let's see what the euro US dollar is doing right now this morning. There's always one in the bunch. All right, 600 likes though for 1,600 people in there. Thank you for that. Right? They don't have to censor people who self-censored. That's what I was getting at. Facebook, they were censoring you before you even realized it. You realized it intuitively. You realized it, but you didn't think anything of it. Right? Yeah. Just keep quiet. Don't offend people. Don't trigger them. Australian dollar, US dollar. Look at this. This looks kind of beautiful. Look at this beautiful line we have over here. This makes it very clear what's going on, right? Could this be played both ways in the coming sessions, right? This is a strong uptrend, right? Watching the dollar, if the DXY breaks down below over here, if the DXY breaks down below, it holds this resistance, then we're going to see obviously the Australian dollar attack to the upside and strongly. But if we break out over here, we're going to see some further dollar strength. We're going to see between here and the resistance over here, where I said the top of that resistance right around 91, call it 91.10. We should see a pretty decent size move by the dollar. So with that in mind, let's look back at the Australian dollar, US dollar. If we resume over here, breaking outside that trend line, I like the Australian dollar, US dollar, and I like it a lot. Would I be looking to sell this move from here to here? Probably not. I would not, right? I would be looking to lean into this trend line over here, though. That would be a good place if we held that trend. If we broke this, then I'm waiting, and then I have another opportunity to attack, and I could keep extending down this trend line, looking to track above that. So that might be in play soon. It's not in play right now, but I see the market actually looking and trading very well, setting up nicely. We talked about this yesterday together in the live stream. We talked about over here losing this trend line over here, and then retest and resumption playing out right now, right? So everyone was already aware of that, looking for that. There you could see it playing out. This is like fast forward of what could be playing on the Australian dollar, US dollar if we break this line. But notice that I'm saying I would not take this trade. And you see how the euro US dollar is much weaker than the Australian dollar. So if I'm going down, I want to attack what's weak. If we're rising up, I want to go with what's strong. You can see the euro is weaker than the Australian dollar against the dollar. And how about this? And you're seeing the euro stronger than the Australian dollar. What do you make of that? I have no idea what to make of that personally. Just an observation. But anyway, here we can watch this euro Australian dollar. If at any time we break outside of this, what looks like a descending wedge pattern, right? At that point, we could be, let me just move that over, be looking to attack perhaps to the upside. Could you sell resistance over here coming back up? Absolutely. You're in a strong downtrend. You're in a strong downtrend. Let me go ahead and add this line over here, right? Where was I just looking? Right there. There you go. What else? We're looking at dollar pairs. Let's check out the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and then let's check out the pound, US dollar, right? Very clear. Markets are very clear right now. I like that a lot. Is there support down over here? Should we move one up to focus on what the market's focusing on? Let's get one right over there. That might be a good place to lean into. I don't like it right now. I would like it above this resistance, breaking this trend line over here and above that resistance. That then it would become attractive. Just not right now. It's a Friday anyway. Doesn't really matter. You got to follow and set up what is being set up over there. What else, Gene? Brother, good to see you. Yep, Junior, you missed them all. You missed them all because you got to learn to see what the signals are for yourself. If you're looking out there on the YouTube, the Facebook, the Bitcoin, the YouTube, if you're looking out there on the YouTube for people to go ahead and tell you when to buy or sell something without explaining to you in detail why, so much so that you don't need them to tell you what to do, you know what to do for yourself, you have no chance of making any money or building a future, Junior. So we just want to reach out to you and get you on the right side. I'm glad that the algorithm brought you in here because you are in a special place. Could really, 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 really help you. We didn't check the US dollar, Canadian dollar, though. We'll do that right after the pound US dollar. All right, so what are you looking at over here? Pound US dollar pulling back into this area of support, right? Nice. You also got this horizontal support in that same area. Nice. A resumption off there. Is that a place to look to go long pound US dollar? Well, I believe more than any other US dollar pair. We'll have to watch and see what's happening on Monday. What about on the US dollar, Canadian dollar? What are we looking at over here? There's our resistance. We're coming into resistance. Just make a note of yourself, by the way. Huge downtrend into resistance. You could extend this line. I should extend this line out over, right? Because that's going to be another bit of resistance on the way up. Let me go ahead at this point in time, make that red, right? Those are both resistance you're looking at. Got to get above here for us to look at the US dollar making a sustained move versus the Canadian dollar. As you notice, you're into resistance right here. We like to sell resistance in downtrends. Notice that the DXY, why everyone is seeing, of note, it was a big deal yesterday. That wasn't noise. Yesterday's proposal of the $1.9 trillion was not actually noise, right? By the way, isn't that the same amount that was proposed by President Trump? I thought President Trump said that he wanted $2 trillion stimulus package and $2,000 checks. It's kind of weird when the same thing is being proposed now by President Biden-elect. It's just taken with a different degree of, let's say, seriousness. You know, weird. Same exact thing. I don't know. So anyway, here you got over here. We're into resistance on the DXY, right? Let's see if we'll break out above here or not. What else? I'm not sure about Etoro. So Etoro, by the way, they said that they're not going to be on the weekends allowing people to purchase Bitcoin. Weird, right? Well, maybe not so much. I don't know who their liquidity providers are. And you know what? If you make a large deposit with Etoro, they want to see bank statements. They want to know where that money came from. They want to see it. Listen, Bitcoiners, right? Decentralized. We don't want any type of regulation. Real world, well, there is regulation, right? And a company like eToro, which is bigger than Robinhood, right? They have to abide by these regulations. At least you know that they are abiding by the regulations, right? And if they're like, listen, we can't allow people to buy over the weekend because we don't have the liquidity providers to do it, well, then at least you know they're not rehypothecating your Bitcoin. So that's kind of good also. George, in the end, were those withdrawal problems solved? Do you know of anyone that was not able to withdraw from eToro? That would be a big deal. I would definitely bring that to everyone's attention. Having to provide information is not the same thing as having withdrawal problems. Withdrawal problems is people will not allow you. Right. FX Choice, a FX broker, is closed on the weekend. They're only open during FX hours for sure. Cash App, I also know people have problems, withdrawing Bitcoin. I'm weary of Cash App. So anyway, so Greg, we talked about this the other day on Twitter, right? When I say we talked about this, or just want to illustrate to everyone really quick so that we all get it up really quick. We just transferred, if everyone noticed, over to Ask Me Anything Friday session. We're going to go with the flow. So right over here, you can see that, look, 2% of accounts control 95% of all Bitcoins. All right, first, let's dig into that really quick. What are those 2% of the accounts? Is that by any chance Satoshi coins? Well, of course they are. Have those coins ever moved? No, they haven't. Will those coins ever moved? Most likely not. Okay, so that's over 1% of those 2% of coins that control 95% of all Bitcoins. What about Grayscale? Grayscale is the whale out there, right? Well, Grayscale, let's see, is that one entity holding all those coins? Well, they have the keys, but that's made up of you, myself, and everyone else, right? So that's kind of diversified. Well, that kind of changed my perspective pretty much right over there. But nevertheless, 0.1% generous of accounts control 99% of all dollars. And I don't hear anyone giving any concerns about that. Weird. So, right? There you go. Bitcoin is a lot more fair. And, and by the way, anyone who took the risk, like the Winklevoss brothers, owns 1% of the supply, they went out when they invested all of their Facebook gains, right? Into Bitcoin, they were taking an enormous risk, a much bigger risk than you are taking right now when you purchase Bitcoin. So, what else? Is there an ether shortage coming? Listen, I have to be completely honest. We have no idea. We have no idea what the supply is of Ethereum, right? So I don't think there's any type of shortage coming on Ethereum. Let's keep it real. I'm all about Ethereum here. All about it, right? I've said I think it's going to continue to outperform Bitcoin. But nevertheless, we got to call it as it is. That's for sure. So what else are we looking at next? All right, let's keep going over here. Got to get back into there. Bitcoin BTC price by the end of the day. Well, I don't know, Rob. With all love, we're here to actually, make really, really high probability trades and profit from the markets and be on the right side of the market, of the trade, as often as we can. We do a great job at that, but we don't make random predictions like that, right? With Bitcoin, it's very clear what's happening right now. Come down to the 2-hour, right? Coming back down and breaking outside of that flag, triggering a lot of short-term trader stops, but into that support. If we hold this support over here, entirely bullish on Bitcoin. If we lose it, look down over here. The next bit of support is coming in at 35,000. Let's draw it in right now, just so everyone's aware going into the weekend. Very important. I will update everyone with Twitter on Bitcoin over the weekend, as I normally do whenever it's the weekend. Okay, look over there. So that's the area you're looking in. If you break this, by the way, 35,000, just so you are aware ahead of time, it's just like this thing about understanding what's going to unfold before it unfolds. As it unfolds, all of a sudden you don't have that deer in headlights fear. You know what's going on, right? As everyone did during this 30% pullback. Anyway, break this over here. This is the important line. This needs to hold. If that trend line doesn't hold on Bitcoin, then obviously we're testing that 30% drawdown low and could even take it out, right? 28,000 could be a real what do you say, probability if we lose this trend line. But right now we're all the way up here. Those are the worst case scenarios that could play out. Right now where it's super entirely bullish, we were looking for and expecting a little bit of retrace into that supply. That's playing out. If we hold over here, this is such a bullish formation, it would be ridiculous. All right. Yes and no, Rob. Absolutely. Just be careful. Just be careful. The risk remains to the upside. Just be careful. You don't want to get in a position where Bitcoin continues to pump and you're not in it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to wind up buying it back higher and then it's going to retrace and then you might be in danger of actually selling during that retrace when you should be buying. So be very, very careful. It's not an easy market to trade. The thing is that you want to be fully invested for the duration of the bull market. All right. The risk remains trying to get fancy, trying to get cute, exiting Bitcoin so that you could gain more Bitcoin by buying it back lower. But Bitcoin continues to rise. And then because you're human and you make the same mistakes humans have been making ever since the markets have been trading, going back to rice futures in China, right? You're going to go ahead and buy back higher thinking you're missing out because you are missing out. And then probably you'll see a retrace and then you probably sell what you bought back up here and it's going to be a disaster. All right. What else are we looking at? Jordan is not. Anyway. Boom, 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 boom. What's your favorite investment books, Joe? Joe, my favorite books by far, and I've read and listened to them multiple times over the past 20 years, is Remnants of a Stock Operator. The story of Jesse Livermore, absolutely incredible. So relevant to the markets, understanding price action, human psychology, that a must. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, absolute must. The other are the Market Wizard books. They're just interviews with some legends. And you don't really learn per se much about trading or any strategy that would be helpful to you so much as you learn about what it takes to have that inner core and character and attributes of a trader. Listen, I could say those are the two books that have helped me the most. The only two books or three books, because it's the Market Wizards and the New Market Wizards, that really, I sent them to my nephew. My nephew's a freshman in college. He just got into the markets. That's what I sent to him. So what else are we looking at? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Link's pumping. So my thoughts on Link is be preemptive of momentum. Now's not a time you want to be looking to enter into Link, right? You can see that Link has left the building, right? Now's the time, by the way, to take profits on Link. You're waiting for that next consolidation before it then makes its next move. But you're not looking to buy Link this morning. Link has just pumped, right? So could it go further? Of course. But now is the word as far as probabilities. There's no question you do not want to enter Link right now. I also think it's fantastic seeing Link pump right now. Lemmy brought up this morning that the next bit of resistance on Link Bitcoin, by the way, let's go ahead and draw that in over here. The next bit of resistance was all the way up here, right around. Let me try to get a good look at where it'll be. Right over there. You know, that's quite a move from where we are right now. Should the focus be on Link Bitcoin? You can't chase momentum. How do you know you're chasing momentum? Pull up the true trend indicator, right? Pull up the true trend. Very easy. And then you can see over here that right now we've just made this massive move. By the way, the trend CCI is way overbought. But more importantly, this blue line, which is the entry CCI, is also overbought. in the direction of the trend. Never chase momentum. You get smacked in the face. Now, yes, without question, overbought can remain so a long time, and so could oversold, but it doesn't happen very often. Look at all these back and forths. It doesn't happen very often. So I can't even find out a case right now where it would. I would probably have to go back on a different pair to 2017 to show you when that is happening, and probably will again happen at the height of this bull market. Oh, sorry about that, Tommy. I didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. Let's look at the commodity index over here first. Let's get our bearings and just notice over here. Here's the Bloomberg commodity index on a log scale. And you can see that massive breakout of that descending wedge over here. Let's pull up on ourselves over here. We got, boom. What are we looking at here? Let me come to the 3-day over here. What are we seeing over here, right? Are we seeing inflationary pressures? Will had a great look over on this over here. I don't have it pulled up right now. I would like to. Do I think we're coming into a bit of resistance soon that we should worry about? Where is that resistance? It's over here a little bit higher than we are at 1386. Let's draw it in on the chart really quick so that we have it going forward. By the way, how long have we been online? Right there. How long? You don't like that, huh? There's always one in the bunch. How long we've been online over here? 55 minutes, absolute fire, right? If you learned anything, if you're happy to be here, go ahead and smash that like button and get me going over here. We'll look at DOT in 1 second. We also did not look at the Euro British Pound. I want to look at but those. We have a question about BlockFi first. Does getting interest on BlockFi and the Bitcoin credit card rewards make taxes hard? Dan, pro tip. You could choose if you're receiving on the credit card has not been issued yet. On the BlockFi interest, you could choose which way you receive that interest. I put mine into a stable coin to make it easier for me, right? Just to make life easier instead of having to track that in Bitcoin and to know in Bitcoin what the price was when I received it. You could just go ahead and set it to US dollar. It's a little bit easier for me. GRT. Is this Angel? Is this what you're looking at over here on GRT? I'll wait a second to for the little bit delay for you to let me know why I wait for that. I'm gonna look at the Euro British Pound over here really quick, and then we'll come back over to it. Let's come down to the 8-hour, and then we'll go to Danny's question over there. All right. So by the way, I have a lot to catch up with. I'm gonna catch up with it a little bit over there. No, Kyle, not even close. In first quarter 2021, it was said several months ago that Bitcoin will break all correlations. US dollar is one of them. Yes, without question, if we had any type of US dollar liquidity crisis like we saw back in February, March. By the way, that started in September 2019. That's when the repo market started showing signs of problems. It was supposed to end in December. It didn't. It had nothing to do with COVID and had everything to do with already what was transpiring. COVID was the pin. The lockdowns was the pin that broke it all. If we have any type of dollar crisis, that will affect Bitcoin. We have no signs whatsoever of any type of dollar liquidity crisis right now. Here, we're looking at the Euro British Pound. Look at that support that I said that we need to watch. If we break that, I'm becoming very bearish on the Euro British Pound. Right now, we've held it. Not only of holding it, or back into that channel over here. You could see right now. We'll take that back up on Monday. Look at this 2 areas of support and resistance. These are your goalposts. And right now, bullish above and bearish below. Let's come back over there. Danny, before we get to your question over there. Angels, what are you looking for then? I mean, it would be helpful not just to know. But, oh, GRT, US dollar. Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. Let's take a look over here. Let me look on Binance and see what's going on over here. I'm going to start on the 3-day. I've never looked at this before, right? So on the 3-day rough sketch, everyone could see this pretty clearly, right? That's an important trend line for us to focus on. Let's focus in on that. And then let's come back down to the 12-hour. And you can see that we're into that resistance right now, right? And then let's come down to the 8-hour. And you can see we've been rejected by that resistance right now. What's the easy play on this? Wait, 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 Wait until we break out above it, and that's when you want to get involved. But right now you're being rejected. You could pull off further. We have support over here at 0.28. Let's call it in that area, 0.288. That's far from where we are today. That's far from where we are today. If Bitcoin actually sells off further, loses those important levels we're trading at, there could be further pressures on altcoins. So watch out. Wait for the break. Wait for the break. What else? There was something else we were looking at over here. And Danny was asking about where we're looking at the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. So the question was, it's consolidating after a big move up. With consolidation, is that a time to take profit or better to keep a full position and exit if support breaks? It does also depend on where you purchased into this, Danny. My first indication that we were breaking down over here in the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar is the break of this trend line over here. Do you notice another thing that you see the breakdown, the retest, and then resuming down off of it? Is that an exit signal? Well, it's very fuzzy, right? Why? Because you're also into that area right here, extending this line of that light resistance. That is local support, and the bigger support, still light though below that, right? So it depends on where you entered this trade. If you entered this trade right now off of this area of the last support over here on the retest resumption entry right here, retest resumption right over there. At that point, when you saw that trend line breaking down, you might want to look to exit the trade. Let's look to see if there's any resistance above there. That would have been more important, that horizontal. You could see it as clear as day. Do you see the peak right over here? Right? Do you see over here how important that line is? Over here was tested at support. That's the area that we were just rejected by. Let me go ahead and just draw that in over there. Right? So I'll move that up a little bit. So would you be looking to take profits over here if your entry was off the last support once we got the trend line break, but then the retest and resumption off of it? I think so. I think that's a good exit over there. Joe, appreciate the shout out. Definitely. Thanks for being here always and regularly, even on the comments in the afternoon. Definitely. Thank you for that. Are we still looking to see a big Bitcoin sell off? Right? I want everyone to have their really sound awareness on Bitcoin, especially going into the weekend right now. Are we looking for a big sell off? We've already seen a 28% drawdown over here on Bitcoin. That's a big sell off on Bitcoin during the bull market phase. Now we've looked at the angles of Bitcoin. Just like, it's very important that you see what I'm talking about. I think I can pull it up in 2 seconds. So give me 1 second to do that. I think I could pull it up in 2 seconds, so give me 1 second to do that, right? But you just see, I just been able to buy myself another 5 seconds, which it actually took me at, and it's the next picture. There it is right here. So you can see right now we've pulled back over here. What I'm trying to point out to you is during this blue cycle, it was a regular occurrence for us to see those 30% drawdowns. What was it, 6 of them? And then 139% drawdown. So that's something to really be looking out for. In this one, we saw Bitcoin in the first cycle, more of that vertical climb over here, and then a much bigger drawdown. So we're putting in a combination of the two so far. So I think 30% is what we're expecting here. Not only that, this market over here, if this were to get extended up, then we'd be looking for that bigger than 30%, and always mentally prepared for 30% plus, but a bigger drawdown. So I'm not looking for a bigger drawdown right now. How will I be prepared for one? Because it could happen. Could we see a move back into 28,000? Would that be unreasonable? I don't think so. And that's a big drawdown. That's a 33% drawdown over there. It's possible. It's not my base case. This looks very bullish to me. But Jordan, Bitcoin's off 6%. Yeah, it's off 6% today, but it's also in the last, the last day and a half, it was up 30%. So it's not really like anything big. So I could look at what's happened technically. Technically, I see that right now we have, and you all remember, because as it was happening in real time, before we broke this trend line, I said if we break there and clear above 35,000 resistance, right, we still have 2 more lines of resistance to get through, but then we'd be targeting the supply up here. And that's exactly what happened. We were looking for and expecting the backup. We want that we want this to hold over here. The highest bit of support. Resistance turns support. If this holds, this is super bullish. The entry, by the way, would be the breakout of this trend line over here on the upside. However, if we do not hold over here, what started this move, the break above the 35,000 resistance, that needs to hold, right? If you see over the weekend that does not hold, be prepared. Most likely we're seeing a bigger pullback, and that pullback is going to come to this trend line. That trend line is all the way down over here at 32,380. It's not just that. You could also see by following my mouse to the left, that was a little bit of light support, resistance, and then over here, it tried to hold the support, broke, and then found the support over there. So this line over here, that's where we would expect this ultimately to hold if we had a breakdown. We're not having a breakdown right now. So far, it's a pullback. We're still above the first local bit of support. It's a light one. The 35,000 is a big one. That should hold. If that doesn't deserve a like, then I can't get your like from you. But if it does earn your like, please go ahead and smash the like button. Let's get going over here and keep going. Let's take a look at Tesla really quick over here. Tesla's still having trouble right now into that resistance. This came back. This line was put in here, but sometime before the stock split, the 5-to-1 stock split on Tesla, right? And it remains resistance. Very clear, right? Consolidating below that resistance. Not bearish at all. Track what's going on in the equity markets. We just looked at the equity markets this morning. Is the first thing that we looked at, right? But very, very good assessment to see that everything has its bullish, really bullish technical structure very much in place. But I was looking, right, for warning signs as early as last night, and it was so funny. On last night's video, there was a comment. Everyone's calling tops, looking for the sell-off. I am not one of those people. I never do that. If I'm bringing something to your attention, it's because it warrants you being cautious of what's going on. All right. So above here, though, Tesla could fly. I haven't noticed that, Jeff. This is the first time I'm noticing that. So that's good that you said that, right? Al, I'm skipping over Facebook today. On this Friday here in CTM, we are in full censoring both Twitter and Facebook just for today. All right. Yeah, you could use the most reliable app for doing that, Roberto, for sending any type of alerts when Bitcoin reaches any targets is TradingView. TradingView is phenomenal charting platform over here. It's very easy. For example, you could just go ahead and right click that, click on, right? So we add alert, the first try, add alert, and it'll go ahead and add that alert. You could see it exactly as you want it. If you wanted to click once or more, blah, blah, blah. By the way, you could also get this to send SMS, to your cell phone. It's the easiest and best way. Over here, you monitor them. I'm sorry if you don't like the fact that we're censoring Twitter and Facebook today, but being that they censor us, it's only just. And over here, I am all about social justice. Yesterday, it was brought up to me the fact that it seems I don't like the policies of the Federal Reserve here. What would I do differently? Yes, let me be very clear. I do not like the policies of the Federal Reserve. 11 years ago, I wrote a paper, a social justice paper, on that the root of all inequality is the Federal Reserve and the fractional reserve banking system that we have. That is what is causing this inequality. Of course, I do not like that. What do I think about a weak dollar and emerging markets? I don't know. Emerging markets is not my thing. Emerging markets have not been acting well. I think that the person that I could direct you to is absolutely Lynn Alden. Search Lynn Alden, emerging markets, and she will give you the why and the what. That is the best thing I could do is point you in the best direction to an expert who should be speaking about that, which is not myself, right? Yeah, I've looked at Benjamin Cowan's channel, and this was months ago. It took me about 10 minutes to realize or to make the assessment that I don't think he knows what he's talking about. That, I hear he's a nice guy. So this is not a personal attack against him. But we're not seeing any type of lengthening cycles or diminishing returns as Bitcoin is trading at 40,000, because back then by the way. This was when Bitcoin was trading. This was when Bitcoin was trading somewhere around $14,000 that I looked at his channel and I looked at what he had to say and after the conversation. And I was like, fine, once we break $20,000, he's wrong, right? And he'll be the first to be like, look, I was wrong. We broke $20,000. We're traded up to $40,000. I mean, if you still think that this it was just a theory, is something worth paying attention to, well, again, it's just been proven wrong, right? So no, I don't. I think it's dangerous. That's what I. But I hear he's a nice guy, and that's good. I like nice people. So what else are we looking at? I'm coming back to real time just to see where you all are at so I can interact with you in real time. If I mixed any of what you wrote, DXY coming in and looking to break above the resistance right over here. By the way, super important. It's super important where it closes on the day. Okay. Last night, again, I do believe was a pivotal point as Joe Biden, President-elect Biden, released his $1.9 trillion plan. And the only reason why is it was just weird that the number came in to something that most likely won't be able to be passed, setting the market up for disappointment, right? Yeah, we don't do that in here, by the way. We don't play politics in here, Katie. Trumpers or libertards or any of that nonsense. This is a community we look to build and support each other up, looking to go ahead and make sure that we can not only build ourselves a future, but the generations after us a future. It's Lynn Alden. Her name is spelled like this. So we don't play any nonsense in here. That's probably for everywhere else on the internet. This is actually a special place, and we have to make sure we keep it special. All right, what else are we looking at over here? Boom, 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 boom. Trying to catch up, see what we got going on in real time. Thank you. It's so important to my heart. Justice, fairness is important to my heart. Seeing what is happening across the world and the injustice that this whole financial system brings and causes. It's so funny. Did you see that the Federal Reserve is now like, oh, well, we think that we have to, one of our main mandates has to become fighting inequality. They're the cause of all inequality. They're the absolute cause of it. So anyway, boom, 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 boom. Very, you're right. It's very important, right, to be anti-political in trading, and it's very important to have the maturity to be able to assess what is happening, to be able to relate that to the markets. So we only do it when it's important. Yesterday's proposal was one of those important times. That's why we're on there. All right. Are we looking at Euro US dollar? Let's check it out. I need to see the chart in front of me, then I could see what is going on with you. You're in the wrong room if you're asking people to buy or sell. You're in the wrong room if you're asking people to buy or sell. We were setting this up yesterday on the live stream, right? We were looking at if we broke down below that trend line. I look for a retest and a resumption off. It's playing out beautiful. If the DXY continues to break out over here above that resistance, we are then targeting much further down on the Euro US dollar. We have support over here almost towards the whole number of 1.2, and then below that over there. But this is very bearish price action that we're seeing. By the way, this area over here, just imprint this in your head for 1 second. That area of support I just pointed out to you. And the only reason I want you to imprint that in your head is because we flip back to the DXY right now. You can see that that would be that area over there on the channel of the DXY, right? If we don't get rejected there, and on the Euro US dollar, if we actually see that support not hold, we could be looking at bigger moves on the dollar. Right now, that's not all happening. Right now, we haven't even broken out of this area of support here on the DXY. Euro feeling the pressure, but the dollar needs to close the DXY on the daily time frame above this 90.71 resistance for us to be looking and targeting this trend line up over here. Whoa, wrong room. What else are we looking at over there? This is TradingView. You could just go to the App Store and download the TradingView app. It is phenomenal. Because we're also seeing today that risk off move I was talking about. We're seeing Japanese yen bid. David, it's been a while since we've looked at the Japanese yen, right? It's been a while since we looked at the Japanese yen. Today was the day that we started. I said, oh, look, what happened yesterday, that was a pivotal moment, potentially pivotal moment. And look, today we're seeing the Japanese yen risk off. We spent the whole, after we got the beginning of the stream on FX going over the Japanese yen and what was transpiring today. Go back and watch it. It's important. Go back and watch it. It's important. All right, what else we got going on over here? Let's take a look at what's going on over here. Bitcoin coming in right now. Let's go to the 2-hour time frame. Let's go low and see what's happening over here. Bitcoin coming in to test this area of support here right now. Again, this is an important line for Bitcoin. If it holds here, this is really, 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 really bullish on Bitcoin. Trendline break, setting up the retest into that supply. Before it happened, that's what I said we're looking for. Rejection right now. If we hold the first area of support, broken resistance, this is entirely bullish. If we do not, we have to hold 35,000. That's the break that started this whole move. If we do not, then we're in trouble. Then we're looking for a bigger retrace. And this trend line is what you have to watch over the weekend to see if that holds. If that doesn't hold, we could be seeing a move 33% from the all-time high, 28,000 area. That's most likely where this move would hold. But that's just watching out for the worst case. The best case is that this area holds right here. If this area holds here at 30, bullish, Bitcoin cannot be any more bullish. If we then break this trend line over here, I think that we're not only testing the all-time high, but taking it out. So right here, right now, very important pivotal level for Bitcoin. Ethereum, still holding up better than Bitcoin. Look at how bullish Ethereum is. You could see that this is the last line of support on Ethereum, and we're still consolidating above it. It's all very bullish, right? Unless we break that support. If we break this line of support, then we could see a big sell-off on Ethereum and therefore crypto over the weekend. Do you remember we said do not buy Litecoin over there? People looking to buy that. It's off about, I would say, 7% in minutes since. That's a move in crypto that you sell into. When you see those big blasts in cryptocurrencies, and by the way, you can play breakouts on cryptocurrencies, but when you see those big blasts, you take profit into them. That's how you play altcoins during the bull market. A lot of traders see this morning, oh, Chainlink's up 18%, I should buy it, right? Well, you're buying the Chainlink that everyone else is selling you, the ones that were preemptive of the trade. Very important. What else are we looking at? Yeah, no. So Monkey Miles is a phenomenal question. There was a really good or a series of good Bitcoins videos put out, especially going into the new year. The last couple of days of 2020, while on vacation, I spent putting out some work on Bitcoin. 3 great videos, and one of them this past Monday. So watch those videos, but we'll come back to this. So this is actually the chart to watch it on. I'm going to come over here on this log chart. And the question is right now is, are we seeing something that reflects more of cycle 2, the blue line, right? This angle that we have over here, very healthy, 30% pullbacks, 139% pullback. Or are we looking at like a double wave, right? Really sharp vertical move up with a bigger pullback and then a second sharp move up. If you come back in here and look over here, right now we're kind of between the two. You can see that we're between the two here. So with that in mind, understand that we don't have that angle we had last time. We're more of a vertical move up, but we haven't started the vertical move part. If this goes vertical, then I would be leaning more towards something unfolding like this. If we pull back over here, consolidate more, and then continue up more on this type of angle, and notice this consolidation over here, right? Is that what we're seeing that's about to take place right now? Right? How long did that last, by the way? This lasted, let's say, 1 month, 45 days, and it took 2 months for us to regain out, right? Could something like that be occurring right now? If it did, it would be entirely healthy, right? The longer this consolidates before moving up, getting back on this type of angle, fantastic. Super healthy as it is right now. But there's nothing else to say. We just have these two models. They're just models. We know the 4-year cycle. This is what's unfolding. We're just trying to keep our bearings. It's like a pilot looking down at his instruments, right? They're just guides. That's all that is for us, guides. And we have to reassess as it unfolds. All right. Addison, like, brother, does your mommy not pay you attention? It seems like you're screaming out for attention. Let's give you a little bit of attention. Listen, not a good way to go. Turn that around, fix that on your own. Otherwise, this won't be a place for you. There you go. Well, I didn't real well, so yeah, but that was, again, you caught the conversation late. I am passionate about censorship. That has nothing to do with Twitter recently censoring the president. Again, I was saying Facebook was censoring me years ago, and I explained how and why. Facebook has censored all of us from having conversation, and it's not just Facebook. Of course, I'm against censorship. What are you talking about? I'm American. Yeah, freedom and liberty. Of course I'm against censorship. How would that make me a Trumper? That I have no idea. But yeah, I'm not. I'm an American, right? So I believe in freedom and liberty, the pursuit of happiness, right? All that good stuff that I'm worried is being eroded for my future, my children and their children and their children. Boom, 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 boom. Alan, when Alan speaks, I like to pay attention. He says that, look, Gary Gensler is the former chairman of the CFTC. This is Biden's picks, right? Nope. He's very knowledgeable of blockchain and cryptos and taught us a course on MIT on these subjects, right? Let me highlight this. Anyone wants to go ahead in there. He was picked as SC chair for Biden, right? There you go. Oh, by the way, Bitcoin ETF. Hold on one second. Another fund, which will be competition now for Grayscale, was launched or is being in the process of being launched with only 0.5% fees instead of 2% fees like we see on Grayscale. That should cause the premiums on Grayscale to come down in the near future. Be aware of that. Maybe I'll try to do an update on that if I get the chance later. What else were we looking at over here? Thank you, Mucky Miles. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Stagflation. Stagflation, right? Lower interest rates and higher commodities. Are we seeing that? Yeah, it would be hard to argue against that for sure. There's no question about it that QE is definitely suppresses yields. No question about that. You can't. Yeah, good comment over there. Jordan, in Bitcoin, you can clone the prime trend line, which held and move above it. You can see there's good support at the current price. I was looking at horizontal. Let me come back into real time. I'm looking at that. What's going on? That's Chainlink. That's why that looks funky. I'm looking at that horizontal support right over there. You're saying that we also have support. Are you considering this the prime trend line? Hold on one second, because just so everyone's aware and on the same page, I just got caught up over there. For me, the prime trend line is this trend line over here, right? And then I cloned it and I put all these lines in months ahead of price actually acting off of all of them. So I don't have another prime trend line coming up here. I know that Don had to put out work in the CTM group showing the other ones up here. So it might be coming off of that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't want to be confused with whether or not we're talking about this. But this is the only thing on my chart. I'm going to just clone this really quick just to see if this is what you're talking about or not. So I'm looking at the resistance, right? 1 point, 2 point. I'm just trying to make sure that's a good line. I'm going to come down to a smaller time frame just so I can line this up really well and see, right? And by the way, this line over here, the prime line that I just cloned, is not really drawn in like I just drew it as a rough sketch. So I'm just getting a rough sketch right over here, right? And I think that you have a better look than me, right? A cleaner look. And you're saying that, look, real, I believe this. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I believe this is what you're pointing out to us, right? And I think that it makes a lot of sense, right? And you can see that that's showing that we also have that line of support right over there, that broken resistance now holding us support, along with the horizontal local support I was drawing in over there. Important area. We want to hold it, right? So I hope I shared what you were looking to share with all of us and not turned it into something else. XLM. Let's look at it on Kraken. So what do we got? See over there? There we go. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah, I'll come back to that in 1 second, John. Let's look at XLM first, then I'll come right back to that in 1 second. So on XLM, what are we looking at over here? Right? I'm trying to in my mind see if I could draw a trend line. The only one I could draw that's clear to me is over here, right? And then I could see the breakout, the retest, resumption up. We did make a higher swing high and are now backing off of it. I think this is entirely bullish. And as long as you stay above this trend line over here, this is super bullish. It's often, it's not uncommon. It's common that when you get a breakout of a trend line, you get a retest, a breakout above, and then another retest. You can see the support down over here as well at 0.268, right? Any move back down into there and that holding, or any move right now is a good place to enter. If you go ahead, you could see this little bit of a trend line, right? Waiting right now for price to trade back above that. That would be a safer entry on there. Looks very good. This morning, actually last night, during the afternoon update, I just gave a heads up. Listen, here's what just was proposed. I think something doesn't sound right to me. It was a big number, $1.9 trillion, and it's a number that I think is going to having difficulty getting past, right? And I explained why. You do want to watch the beginning of this live stream, John, to really get the best overview of what I explained on the S&P 500. You want to watch last night's video again. It was a short one. It was a short one. And then you want to watch the opening of this live stream over here where I covered the S&P 500, I covered the Nasdaq, and then to a lesser extent the Dow, and also covered the Russell very well because the Dow is mirroring the S&P 500 almost perfectly right now. It's the same pattern, but nothing technically has broken down yet. It's only warning shots have been fired. I'm not calling a top. I'm saying, look, at this point in time, watch how the market's reacting, why it's reacting. Just be a little cautious. But John, watch those two. They'll give you the best replay of it. Nasdaq also, just while we're checking in over here, right? It broke that support. That's a bearish technical event. Not all right. When I say bearish technical event, but this morning I told you before as we were trading up here, if we came down and break that down, that would be bearish, right? We'd be looking over here first, right around 12,664 for a little area of support, and then the big one down over here at 12,430. We've broken down on the Nasdaq. Now, that's when I say bearish, that's not like we've seen a technical break as if we were to break the support level over here. That would be very bearish if we broke this support level over here. And that might bring up a retest of this trend line over here, this triangle pattern that started this whole move, right? So that we would see if we lose this, that's a big technical break. We're looking for a bigger correction. This is just short-term stuff happening right now over here, all right? But we were ahead of it. We were ahead of it. I got accused last night of calling tops and stuff like that. I don't do that. Oh, nickel I wanted to look at also. As you can see that it was rejected. Over here, I'll start on the 3-day over here. You can see it was rejected by that trend line over here again. Let's come down to the 8-hour. Let's come down to the 12-hour. Take a look. It's a little cleaner. You can see that this resistance is a big deal. 3 times we've been rejected by it. What does that mean? Be patient. Get back above this. Once we get back above this trend line, notice the wording. Once we get back above it, right? That's going to open up a really good entry into nickel. Right now, ever since we said over here, I missed this trade over here, right? This was, when was this? New Year's Day. I missed this. And I said, all right, now you got to stay neutral. Still stay neutral. Wait it out. Wait for the break of the resistance above. That will open up a nice entry into nickel. Or let's see if we get another retest down over here towards the $1,200 area. And just to be clear, I don't know if Bitcoin is going to hold here or not. I'm saying if it holds here, that's very, very bullish, right? I gave twice during this live stream a very important in-depth overview of what to expect on Bitcoin, because we're going into the weekend and I want to make sure everyone has that clarity, that comfort, that confidence to know what to expect. It's very, very important. We'll continue updating on Twitter over the weekend though, for sure. What else? Zen's coming out. Look, it's time that I saw a chart yesterday of all Peter Schiff's tweets on a long time frame scale of Bitcoin. Absolute classic stuff over there, right? So let's check this out there. With regards to Biden's proposal, isn't stimulus to the corporations and stimulus to Main Street two different things? Why would the markets be concerned, right? So what the markets are concerned is that's not going to be passed, right? Even though that the Democrats now have the majority in the Senate, they would need 60 votes to pass a lot of the things proposed yesterday. And the odds of that happening are really not good. There are, just because, there are a lot of centric Democrats who think that this is money that is not spent wisely. It's too much, and it's going to create a bigger problem for not only the United States, but for their children. So that's why the market is like, wait, why was something that's probably going to be shot down proposed? Maybe it was just a negotiation tactic. Maybe they want to come out big with a high number so that they get something what they feel comfortable with. Maybe the final number will be 1.5 trillion and they'll be like, win, right? Daniel, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here and sharing. We did make it to 1,000 likes, by the way. Thank you, everyone, for that support. Definitely grateful for each and every one of you. I wanted to ask you, when you sell your Bitcoin, is that straight into dollars on exchanges? What exchanges are best? There are so many good exchanges, Danielle, and I do believe that you should have be onboarded with multiple exchanges. A lot of people didn't understand that. A lot of people did not understand why I would say that. Listen, if you have one option, if your only option is Coinbase, for example, it's very easy to get locked out of Coinbase because if you need your two-factor or two FA reset, that email might never come. You might be waiting months, right? So have multiple on and off ramps at all times. There are so many good ones. Kraken takes a long time to onboard right now, right? We like things done instantly today. So start doing that now. Gemini, Coinbase as like a backup last resort, sure, right? There's many good brokers. Binance, is that the best on and off ramp? Maybe not, but you could get really quick, right? And then also, what else do you have? So yeah, having multiple options is always really good and important. Probably exiting to a stable coin first, right? Probably exiting to a stable coin. I don't know at that point, come the fall, winter. By the way, when I say September of 21st as looking for the peak of the market, that is when I'm looking for the peak of the market. It might not happen for a couple of months afterwards. I'm going to let the market show me what is going on and act accordingly. I'm not trying to impose my will on the market, but around that time is really when I'll be looking for the top, right? Is the DXY pumping too fast? Kips, single origin fan over here. Like it, love it. At least 50K. We'll have to look at what Will's lines are on the log chart. Probably something I'll do over the weekend if I have the opportunity. I don't know that I will this weekend, but over here, yeah, or are we looking at something much higher? Yeah, 53, 55 in that area, Allen. That would be a gimme, I think, right? And then we have anyway, we'll talk about that as we get to that. Let me just plug this in over here so we can keep going. Thanks for spending the time today. Good session. Happy to be here with you all, right? JPM, we looked at JPM yesterday or the day before, and it was just flying. I don't know why. Oh, came back off a little bit. I don't know why. That's probably under the pressure of the indices falling. Anyway, you know, and this is why I don't like to trade stocks, by the way, is because if you're tracking that trend line, right, how do you get into the trade? You're going to buy a 10% gap up, you know? So anyway, nice to see though. It's flying, as you said. Look, who knows? We'll see what happens. Right, honestly, we'll see what happens. Can we look at XRP? I took XRP off of the watch list on purpose, but let's go ahead and take a look at XRP over here and see what's going on. So XRP is actually interesting. You could see it struggling with this resistance. If and when XRP breaks above it, you could see a sharp appreciation of XRP. You could even see it rip, all right, to the upside. Look over here at this double top over here, that resistance. A breakout above, then you would have this outer trendline resistance coupled with this confluence of horizontal resistance right around that area. That's coming in somewhere around 0.366, right? So a breakout of this first area, that's probably what I would be targeting up in that area. That's a big move. Breakout above there, yeah, XRP could run again. XRP could run again, right? Especially if at the end of the day, all of its law problems wind up being just paying a slap on the wrist. So, you know, is it a buying opportunity? The trendline break would be the first sign that it's a buying opportunity. Now, all of that aside, my problem with XRP is Ripple. My problem is that the company Ripple, their business plan is to fund their company by selling XRP tokens to retail traders. Be aware of what you're investing in and what their model is. All right, that's my problem with it. If you're following what's going on in the charts, a breakout above this trend line, that sets it off for sure. Oh, so yeah, Montana in the house telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't have a long history, all on video, of knowing exactly what I'm talking about. And not only that, being more precisionally correct than anyone else I know out there. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Right. But you do. Right. Sure. And I'm a little confused. I am confused because I don't know what I'm talking about. I was under the impression that it was the Federal Reserve who printed $4.1 trillion. And I was under the impression that it was the Congress who wrote the bill of the COVID stimulus plan. So I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Or wait, do I? And you have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway. Let's check out the dollar DXY. Dollar into the resistance still though. Let's take a look on the 2-hour time frame over here. You can see that dollar is into that resistance. We don't know what's going to happen. The thing that you're looking for to happen today, so that when we get off this live stream together, if you see the dollar rising here, you're looking to see where this closes on the daily time frame. If it closes above this level that it's trading at right now, 90.70, right? 90.71.5, then you know that we've broken this resistance and that we're looking for a bigger move up into this trend line over here. Now, it probably won't be straight up. It'll probably be a move that retraces to test either this first line of resistance or this stronger line of now broken resistance as support. Now, it's possible at the end of the day we even close below this lower one over here at 90.56. All right, but that's your situational awareness of what you're looking for and waiting for. So even again, if we close above this, Probably not a straight line into that trend line resistance. Probably a retest of probably not the 9071, probably a retest of this one down over here. But either one of them holding and resuming off, then we have that clarity that we're looking for a bigger move and where we're targeting. South Brooklyn, Bitstamp. I didn't include Bitstamp in that for sure. Binance USA, Kraken, Gemini, Coinbase. And I would include BlockFi in there. BlockFi is, by the way, the only exchange that you're seeing their Bitcoin holdings increase. Pay attention to that. That's important. Now, will that be the same at the height of the bull market when people sell? I don't think so. But right now, at this current time, BlockFi is increasing their Bitcoin as people are using it to store and hold Bitcoin there. But that's one I would add to the 5 that South Brooklyn went ahead and sent to us. Right. BlockFi does not have limit orders. BlockFi is not for trading. I have no idea, Brian. Do a quick search and you'll find out really quick. Right? What else is going on? Let me come back into, well, that's probably a good time to buy. And you all know I have a whole history of how I feel about XRP, right? So anyway, just without getting attached to it, just follow what's going on. By the way, I think it was on Binance I was looking at it, right? You guys just all saw that trend line I have. I don't know where it is. I'm not going to look for it right now. But a breakout above is the only place you look for the entry. Right now, we're into resistance, right? What's going on? Let me get my awareness over here. Breaking down over here. Let's take a look at this, right? On the verge of losing this very important area of support. I say very important because that brings us down to 35,000 in play. If 35,000 doesn't hold, we're going to see a red weekend, a big red weekend. So watch out for that. I can't, Anthony, just out of, just for morals, just out of morals, from a principal's place. Thank you, Orange Cowboy. Thank you very much. We didn't look at DOT. Let's take a look at DOT. Yeah, DOT was flying yesterday. Oh, wow. It's actually consolidating very well after that move up yesterday. The reason I say why it's consolidating very well, it's consolidating above here, right above that broken resistance as support. So you could also see over here this little bit of a bull flag. That's pretty bullish, I would have to say. Notice the characteristics of DOT. We look at this on Litecoin, right? Look at all of these right over here. Bull flag consolidation, breakout. Bull flag consolidation, breakout. It's doing the same thing right now. And by the way, if it fails, that's the next area that you're looking for, obviously. That resistance that was broken up, that's a strong area of resistance right now on DOT. Looks very good. A lot going on altcoins right now. How long we've been online over here? The catalyst for the dollar being bid today was, in my opinion, right, the proposal of the stimulus bill last night. It's right, so that's what started all of this. The CTM group, Conquering the Markets. There's a link below that will give you the full details on the course, which includes obviously the whole Conquering the Markets community. We're on Telegram right now, moving to Discord. But you can find all the information over there for sure. What else are we looking at over here today? I don't know anything about it. I would definitely defer over here to Brandon or Alan when it comes to Riot. I don't know anything about it. Obviously, we could just do what we do best. You can see this trend line over here, right? You can see that we've started a new direction of a trend line. Usually there's 3 phases of parabolic moves. And then the next one would be even higher. If we start going higher, that next trend line, that's the one. If it breaks, then you think that move is topping in the near term. Bitcoin. So what else? I think that's it. We'll come back down to real time just to see what else we got going on over there. JP Morgan. Well, I don't usually chase momentum, so I'm not gonna do that. But any which way, you know, anyway, JP Morgan, I believe that they're a cause of all this inequality. I believe they're evil, and I don't really want to follow them or pay them mind or attention. You know, very rare I say that, right? There's only a couple of things I do that with. Boom, 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 boom. OB1, huh? Thank you for that. You know, definitely appreciate that. That's it today. We're gonna go out some music right now as I begin to fade. It was a beautiful, beautiful session. Really, really beautiful session. You have to understand the origins of the Federal Reserve System. And if you don't think the Federal Reserve is evil, man, you need to take a red pill. You need to find out what's going on, what money is, how it's created, who controls it. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Giles. Great video you shared today. Really appreciated that when I watched it this morning. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. It looks like the markets are alive. Bitcoin right now is entirely in play, as is all the crypto. I'll do my best, even if it means doing a couple of few-minute video over the weekend, making sure that whatever's going on, right, that we stay on top of it together. That's what we do. Thanks everyone for the time. May God bless you all. That's right. Thank you, Milty. This was the first red pill I ever took in my life. This was 2005. Look up the Money Masters, right? Both of them. Look up the Money Masters and the Creature from Jekyll Island on the Federal Reserve. That was the first red pill I ever took in my life. If we lose this support over here on Ethereum, we're looking much lower, right over here around 1017. That would be the first area I'd be looking for us to go ahead and see if we're able to bottom out. If we don't, then we're looking at the 80, much lower, 867. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see 28,000 on Bitcoin. It's all possible. We have to be prepared so that if things unfold, that we're ready for them instead of being frightened like a deer in headlights. All right, everyone. Thanks for the session. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. I'll be active on Twitter over the weekend, updating what's going on Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, and also if any videos need to be sent out on any of that over the weekend, I'll do a few-minute video and make sure if something is happening that we all need to be, on the same page with, that we all are. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.